I'm from the UK, and way back in 2016, during the whole killer clown epidemic, I was walking through the woods at around 10 p.m. alone to get to a party happening in a secluded part of the forest. It was almost pitch black, and I could barely see in front of me besides the flash on my phone. Everything seemed normal as I was walking to the party. I reached a long stretch of woods with no defined path, but it was the quickest way to the party, so I took it. Around midway through, I heard something to my left. I turned and saw a shadowy figure sitting on a fallen log. I was understandably unnerved, but I couldn't make out if it was just shadows from the moonlight or if it was an actual person. I made the mistake of shining my phone light directly at it and was instantly terrified. Sitting there, alone in the middle of the woods, was a large man dressed as a clown with full face paint and sporting the creepiest smile imaginable. I tried to call 5 different people as I was passing him, and then I heard him get up behind me. I instantly started sprinting towards the end of the long stretch, onto a path which had a barbed wire fence down the side of it. During the sprint, I was pretending to be on the phone with one of my friends, and I could hear the man running after me, but there was no chance in hell that I would be turning around to see if I was right. When I got to the path, I jumped over the fence as fast as I could and sliced my hands open as I did so. I then turned around and kept running backward as I saw the clown stood behind the fence just staring at me and smiling. I didn't stop running until I got to the party, and I was scared for a very long time after this. You have to bear in mind that there were so many rumors of people being killed by individuals dressed as clowns at the time. While I will never know if the man had evil intentions or was just trying to scare me, it was extremely strange and scary to live through. When I was in high school, I worked at the local Pizza Hut, and I was a closing server, so after closing down the salad bar and mopping, I got out of there pretty late. I had this ritual of texting my dad when I was almost done to let him know I was almost home, but mostly it was to test and see if him and my mom were awake or not. If they weren't, I would take the long way home on the old country roads. I lived on a dog breeding farm 20 minutes outside of town, and I would just enjoy the quiet drive. One particular night I decided to do this, and I was riding along a back road about 3 or 4 minutes from my house. This is a road I know very well. My bus took this road my whole childhood. One thing to note about my area is I live in the deep woods of East Texas, so most people who own property put their houses about 1/4 to 1/2 of a mile back on their property and keep their exposed woods as basically a natural fence and defense. So while you can see a lot of driveways and mailboxes, you can see almost no houses, just woods with chunks taken out. As I'm driving, I come upon a toolbox, like the ones that sit up in the back of work trucks, smack dab in the middle of the tiny dirt road. I pull up to it and stop and open my door, stepping out but not away from my car. As I take in my obstacle, I realize my headlights are not the only light in the road. There are headlights, small ones, coming up a driveway that was parallel with the toolbox. I sit back down in my car and close my door until only a crack is open, so that in a moment's notice I can close it, go off into the grass, and get the heck out of there. A small riding wheel lawnmower comes out from the trees, and riding it is a man in a full clown suit and mask with a shotgun laid across his lap. He turns and looks directly through my windscreen and into my eyes and brings the shotgun up out of his lap. Now I am a country boy through and through. I can smell when I'm somewhere I'm not wanted. So before he even got the butt of that thing to his shoulder, my car was in drive and in the side ditch of the road. I got out of there, went home, crawled in bed, and never spoke about it again. I don't know what that guy was doing, seeing as this was probably 2018 to 19, so after the killer clown craze. I've never had any experiences that really freaked me out, except this one. I was around 11 years old and was with my sister and her friends. We are all girls. They were all around 16 years old and were taking me trick-or-treating. We were going door to door to get candy and playing with silly string. I kept getting this weird feeling, like I was looking behind me constantly, and I had no clue why. Around 9:30 p.m., I turned around quickly and there was a guy dressed up as a clown about 2 yards behind us. I wasn't really scared about this because I like clowns, and since this was the first time I saw him, I figured that he was just trick-or-treating. But he followed us for another hour, never getting candy and waiting for us at each house we stopped at. At this point, I was stressing and told my sister about the clown. She decided that we try to go a completely different route and see if he still follows us. So we all crossed the street and he followed us. My sister absolutely hates clowns and was freaked out, so she called our dad to pick us up. We continued walking for around 30 minutes until our dad called us saying where he was parked. We all started walking fast toward the direction of my dad's car, but that's when the clown ran in front of us and tried to corner us. I think he knew that we were trying to leave. My sister and her friends were freaking out, and me, being a naive and outspoken kid, I yelled at the clown to leave us alone. I remember that he tilted his head to the side when I said that, kind of like a confused dog. I grabbed my sister's silly string and told the clown that if he didn't leave us alone, I'd ruin his outfit with the silly string. Again, I was a naive kid. I actually thought that he would be scared of silly string. The clown didn't back off, so I stringed him all over his mask and costume. While I did this, my sister called our dad again, telling him to hurry where we were. The clown struggled to get the string off of his mask so he could see, but we were already running. My dad came around the corner and we all rushed inside the car. The clown caught up with us, trying to open the car door, but it was locked. As my dad hit the gas, the clown slammed his hands on the back window. I remember watching him out the back window, trying to chase the car but failing. I never figured out what was up with that clown, but there were other reports of a clown with the same description chasing kids in the area.